Hey guys. Well, Heroes just ended, and funnily enough, it just goes under Heroes tonight, but it also says Villains too, so it's kind of like they're bringing you up to speed on what happened. They go back 18 months. Now, this covers like the 3 episodes. There's what's going on now, and what went on in the first episode a little bit, and the second episode too. And it starts out with Mr. and Mrs. Petrelli, right? And they're having a party, and Lindemann's there. He's the fellow who's played by Malcolm McDowell, who's now like a ghost type figure, who's really just like a figment of Mr. Petrelli's mind, because he has all these powers where he can talk to you right through his mind. He has like everybody's powers. Now, I don't know if you remember from this scene where the van rode Nathan off the road and pushed him off the road, and he flew up into the air, and that was like the first time he used that power. Well, that was Lindemann under Mr. Petrelli's order to bump off his son, so that because he was a DA at the time and didn't want him looking into the Lindemann experiments, which becomes the new group that the Petrellis are running. And the company is trying to bring in all of what they believe are villains. It starts out there's just villains out there. The guy with the fiery hands, they're busting up a store, and his sister is Meredith. Now, as I remember, Meredith is like Claire's real mother, right? So anyway, it gets together with who is at the moment Gabriel, and if you remember back, he stole his first power of being able to levitate things, just move things by pointing his finger at them and moving them in one direction or another. And he kills that guy and steals his power. Now, Elle and Mr. Bennett, they're working on bringing Siler in, who is still Gabriel at the moment. And Mr. Bennett says, well, get him his favorite pie and try to win over his confidence that way, But she does, and she sets him up with this fellow Trevor, right? And Trevor has this power of like just pointing at things and making them explode. Well, one of Gabriel's biggest faults is that he covets other people's powers. So when he goes to knock down Trevor, Elle knocks him down with her power, like she shoots lightning bolts out of her finger. And Gabriel tells Elle, just get out. And now Mr. Bennett, he's watching all of this in this van, right, this surveillance van, and watches Gabriel, who's now turned into Siler because he's cut off the top of his first head and stolen Trevor's power, right? So Mr. Petrelli and Mrs. Petrelli, they're having an argument about Nathan getting killed or not. So Mrs. Petrelli makes a soup that makes it look like, well, kind of kills Mr. Petrelli. But he can, in the end, before that, Elle breaks out, Meredith breaks out her brother, which is the guy who can shoot fire out his hands, where, she just has like a ball of fire in her hand. And Meredith, that is. And they're in a boxcar, and a character I'd never seen before, he shows up, and he sets the boxcar on fire. He has a big fight with them, trying to kill them. They all jump out the door, and the bad guy, who's in the more recent films, has both his hands go on fire, and he blows up the the bank and all that stuff. He's run off, and this guy, played by one of the Arquettes, he's got Meredith locked up and handcuffed, kind of like a tie wrap or something. And then she says, "What? They stole my sister, my daughter Claire, when she was 14." And he says, "They told you that?" And she says, "Yeah, well, I guess now I'm going to go back to the cell." And he cuts her loose. Then all of a sudden, if you remember back to like the first episode, when Claire used to look like that in the cheerleader outfit, and it was all about save the cheerleader, save the world. She's in the show for about 3 seconds tonight, where you see her running into the boxcar. That's where she runs into the fire and saves a couple of people in the fire. So that's all you really see of her. And well, now she's looking like this. This is a picture of her from last week. And get back to Mr. Petrelli. He's dead, virtually dead anyway, and he is controlling the doctor's mind. Told the doctor to tell Mrs. Petrelli he's dead, and the doctor says, well, through his mind control, we'll give her a different body to cremate, and they'll think you're dead. So then it kind of goes to the end, where Hero wakes up in Africa, all right, and it's present times, and the African guy's head has been removed from his body and is laying in a different place. The Hero comes running out, and Mr. Petrelli just walks up from behind and grabs him by both sides of his head and says, "I hear you've been dreaming about me." And that's the end of the show. So it's really down to who's the villains and who are the heroes. And I think next week is going to be pretty darn interesting, as far as we find out, who's going to play on what side now, and who are the heroes and who are the villains. And I'm kind of interested to see what part Claire's going to play. I think she's going to be the bad girl, Well, what you see is the villain. It's so you have to watch the show, because it's so it goes from one scene to another, to another, to another, to another. Well, I hope I didn't make this too long, and I hope it's not too boring. And I will thank you all for your participation. This will probably be the last bit I make before I go back to the boat on Friday. I've got a lot to do, and I've got a lot of physical therapy to do and stuff. And I'll see you from the boat. Thank you all for your excuse me. Thank you all for your participation. And love you all. See you back.